Okay, welcome back, guys. This is that 60 Super Echo that I got from a friend of mine. As you can see, it's got a Tillotson carb on it. The guy that was going to buy it backed out on me, so I said I'd give it a week. A week is tomorrow. Look it, I'm going to do it tonight. It's pretty important. Rebuild this carb and put a rope in it. I'm not going to use this handle, these suck. But I just needed a rope, and that one was there. So we're going to take this carb off. We're going to crack it loose real quick. Of course, that's not going to work. With extension on it, dummy. That might not work at all. I'm going to have to go get a wrench. Ooh. And I also got a spring, recoil spring, for the McCulloch cover I had the other day that was not wanting to retract on that 1010. So I took the recoil I had off of a 710 and put it on it just to run it because I needed to run the saw. But I also need a recoil for that 710 when I get it going. Because eventually I'll get back to it and it'll get running. It's just gonna take me a bit. As you know, I've got 50 different projects going at once. Come on. How the hell does that linkage come out? That might be one of them custom bend-em linkages. Looks like that's the way that is. Get out of the way. Pull that open. Flick that over. There we go. Throttle linkage is off. Probably never get that back on. Now we gotta do the old twisty off. We know the kill switch on this works, on the saw, and we know that it will run and has spark, because I got it to burp the other day and run for a minute on a prime out of my little can, but it wouldn't suck fuel, so it's either got a bad diaphragm, which is the more likely culprit, or a plugged fuel filter, which I have over there for this, I think. If not, I'll just take it off for now and run it without for testing purposes. It won't be that way long. I'll just run it that way for, long enough to figure out that it'll run, and then I'll go get a fuel filter. Man, I hate doing this with a wrench. There we go. Got it loose enough I can get my fingers on it. Crack it off out of the way. Kinda. There it comes. Yeah, like I had a guy that was wanting to come look at it, and well, I don't know if I can get parts and blah blah blah. You guys probably can't see anything. I'll tip you up a bit. Sorry about shaking you around, but anyway, I just screw you. And then he wanted to know if I'd take less, and I've already got it priced too cheap, so if he doesn't want to pay me a price, fine. I'll fix it and sell it for more. Okay, screwdriver. Ooh. I don't want to break that. I've got some Echo fuel line, but if I don't have to, don't want to break it. There it goes. Okay, got it. Now we gotta get that jet boot thing off. Oh, it's ripping, of course. Why wouldn't it? There it comes. There, now we got it out of there. With minimal damage to everything. Just drop the intake block like a big dummy. Seals look okay. They're not complete garbage, so try and reuse them. Flat it is. Yep, I'm going to need my scratch because I broke the tip off the screwdriver the other day. And I haven't replaced it yet. So, just come over to my chainsaw field toolbox and grab my scratch. So we're going to start with the diaphragm side, which is this side. How I can tell is there's that little divot here. That's for your sucking action. Because I'm betting this diaphragm is just toast. I'm going to take the saw and set it off to the side so I can work on the carb. I don't need the saw to work on the carb. And that way we've got more room to talk and you guys can see a little better. Like I said, I'm just going to pop this little sucker apart. It's got 4 screws, 1 in each corner. Just be careful with these guys. Don't wrench these down too damn hard when you put a new diaphragm in. I like to do one side of the carb at a time. Start one side, put all your screws in a little pile, that way you keep track of them. Or in a little bucket, which is what I should be doing, but I don't have my bucket out here. And I don't want to go get it. Scratch in there and pop the sucker apart. I don't like the way this is going to come apart. There it comes. Got it. Okay. This is one of those that is hooked into the needle and seat. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. Yeah, this diaphragm's shit. So what I'm talking about hooked into the needle and seat is, bring you guys up here. This has got that little hook there, and that hooks onto your metering level right there. Get my pointer out. Right there. And it pulls it up and pulls it out and all that jazz. So that looks to be pretty close to flat, which I think is stock specs on this carb. I don't know exactly. I'm going to leave it alone because I know the saw was running fairly soon. 2 now. It's just the diaphragm is just crap. So, right over there where that belongs. My handy little kit out. Because the saw wasn't running, or was running not that long ago. See the difference here, guys? This is soft and pliable, where that other one is hard, like a flapjack. This would probably come back if I'd soak it in water or gas for a day or two, but I'm not even going to mess with it. I can get a kit, so I'm going to just put a new one in it. Okay, got that in there, I think. Check it here in a second. Nope, I didn't. There, it's in there now. Yep, it's in there. And it just came out again. These are sometimes a pain in the butt. There we go. Got it in there. Still in there, it seems like it. The old tug test. Still in there, yep. It's still in, so I'm going to put this plate back on. This one's got a nice little alignment tab here and here. So you can't really get it wrong. You just line up alignment tabs. Just put it back on. Put your screws back in the hole. And that is one side of the carb. The other side is the one that's got all the seals and such. And just put this down in here a couple turns. Then get another screw in here. Don't tighten down just one screw. I just turned it just a couple turns in. They're not tight yet. Because if you don't have it perfect, and you try to put just one screw in, and then put the other 3 in, it won't work real good for you. You'll end up molesting something, and then you'll end up having to get a carb. And these carbs Sure, you can buy a carb, but they're kind of expensive for a carb. For an actual Echo carb, this would be kind of expensive. Again, this is a Tillotson, so you could get probably an aftermarket, and it would probably work just fine. But what if it didn't? You know, like I said, I'm not wrenching on these. I'm just seating them, making sure they're tight, but not too tight, because these are tiny little screws, guys. You'll break these off in a heartbeat. Now this side might also need some seals. I bought a complete kit. I got the needle, I got the seat, I got the metering lever, not the seat. That's inside the carb itself. But I got the little covers for the screens and all that jazz in here. So if I have to go deeper, I can go just a tad bit deeper without going completely to a carb. And I've got the intake seals. They happen to be the same seal it looks like as a Mac, so definitely going to hang on to those. Won't be getting rid of them anytime soon. Yeah. Yeah, these seals are all pretty bad. They're all just dry and wore out. So we've got them already here. We're going to just put them in there. But we're going to keep track of these so we can see which order they went. This one, it looks like the seal is on the bottom, and then the little tray was on top. So got to match them up. Looks like this is probably the one I need. And it is. Now we need the little flap that goes over it. I'm not exactly sure what its term is, but it's this thing. It's got these little, these here, they flap just like this in there. And they open and close, and when they get dried out, they'll either stick open or stick shut. And then your saw won't run right, and you'll be mad. Really mad. Trust me, been there. This one is going to be a little trickier to line up. But it goes on like this. It's also got 2 alignment tabs. So, alignment tabs right there. You guys can't see that. It's right there and right there. So you just line it up with the seal. And make sure it lines up with my bolt holes, which it does not. And it does not also line up with this, which means I had it 180 degrees away from where it needed to be. I think. No. This has got to go down here. Yep. See, that's the way it goes. Just like this. And then a little flap goes on top. Well, it'd be the top side. So this little flap goes on first on this, because this is, well, actually, this is the bottom side of the carb. The carbs, or no, this is the top side. I was right. Carb sits in the saw like this. The intake goes there. So this is the top side. I'm learning right along with you guys, so this is kind of a learning process for me also. So I haven't done a lot of chainsaw carbs, and the ones I've done haven't really ran that great, to be honest. So this goes like this. Just gotta make sure we keep all these in line with the bolt holes. Looks like I did a better job this time than last time. Like I said, I've only done 2 or 3 chainsaw carbs. And I haven't really been able to get them to run properly. And I ended up having to take them apart. But this one seems a little simpler than the ones I've tried to do in the past. Yeah, this is... So one of the other issues I noticed with this saw is throttle cable was kind of sticky. And I wanted to see if it was the carb, which obviously it's not. It's springing just fine. Or if it was the cable. Being the cable, it's probably just stiff from not being ran. or vibrated around and all that jazz. So when I get the saw running, it'll probably clear right up. But just in case it doesn't, I'm not going to run it with the air filter on it. Also, because I had to clean the air filter and it's full of carb cleaner right now, so it needs to air out for a while. We'll go back and check all of our bolts, or all of our bolts, machine screws, whatever you want to call them. We're going to flip it over the other side and check them too. They're all good and tight. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just, these are our jets here. One of them's high, one of them's low. So on this carb, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. I'll pick you up. Yeah, right there it says high, right there it says low. So this is our low jet, that's our high jet. Not all carbs are like that though. So we're going to just take our screws and turn these suckers right in. Not going to reef on them, because then you'll mess the seats up. Now, I did try and jet this, or not jet it, but I did try and get it to draw fuel, so I turned the jets out where I thought they needed to be on this particular saw. Being somewhere around the 60 cc mark, it's probably not going to take a freaking crap load of fuel, especially since it's stock. So we're going to go out a turn and a turn and a little, because if it's too rich we can turn it in and it's fine. We just don't want it too lean and blown up. So that's half a turn, that's a full turn, it's half a turn, it's a full turn, and just a squeak. Okay, we should be ready to go back together on the saw. So I'll grab the saw again. Like I said, these extra seals and little goodies and needle and seat, I'm not getting rid of them. I'm going to put them right over there with my other carb kit that I had for a home line, actually, which I will take down to a friend of mine and just give that to him, because he'll need it more than I do. I traded those home lights off. I didn't really want to do it, the carb in that. It was kind of a pain in the butt, it looked like, to pull out, so I decided against that. So now we're just going to take one of these loose bolts, line everything up. We're going to take our other bolt loose of the air horn. Now, not really an air horn on this, it's more of a brass nipple for the top of the air box. We're just going to dry fit this and get it on there. Get one of the bolts snug, or get them both snugged up, and get everything back in its home. You also got to get this fuel line on, so hopefully it'll cooperate and just go on there. Which it's not gonna. Of course, why would it? Because it's old and hard and probably gonna just frickin' break. Oh, what a pain. I can already see this is gonna be more of a pain in the butt than I want to deal with. I'm learning my patience, guys, with you guys. Because that's something I've always struggled on with chainsaws, especially. If they don't quite run right, I get really frustrated really fast. I'm just now learning how to tune. I'm just learning how to actually listen for what they need to sound like when they're running correctly and not like crap. Because it used to be, heck, if it's dark, I'm going to timber. And if it didn't run right, I would get mad and switch to another saw. Or something along that line. Okay, I got that fuel line on. I'm just gonna get this impulse hole is in the top. Okay, we'll explain that. Also, this little hole is your impulse hole. Do not plug that off. Your saw will run. It won't even run. It won't run without a prime, and then you'll be mad and you'll be frustrated because you just spent all that time rebuilding the carb, and it won't run. You'll be really, really upset. I know from probably personal experience. I had a saw that ran like it did, or it would only run off of prime, and I did the carb, and I said, well, what the heck? And yeah, I don't think I had the impulse hole in the right spot. It's a real simple mistake. Okay, now my carb is back on. I'm going to thread both of these down. Just get them in there a little bit. Make sure we're not going anywhere. And then I'm going to thread one out at a time. I'm going to do the bottom one first because it's going to be the pain in the butt to do. This one, I can get a socket on, kind of, and just kind of turn it in by hand. With just like a little nut driver setup. And that bottom one, I'll take it out. And do the bottom one. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Turn this intake block a bit, hopefully not ripping the seal. And then get this in here where it belongs. Okay, this one's started, so now I can take this one back off. I'll show you guys what I'm doing. See, I put this little air horn, it goes on this bolt as well, and I just put it on the bottom one first because it's going to be the pain in the butt. Now I'm going to take the top one off, and then I will get the air horn back. Well, like I said, it's not really an air horn, it's more of a stud for this cover. This top cover that goes over the air filter. That's more of what it is. On a Husky, it would be an air horn, or at least a 200 series. And we'll just get these tightened up. We'll get our linkages back in. We'll put a little more fuel in it. It's got a little in it, but not probably enough. Come on, get back off there. And then we'll give her a prime and see if I can get it to suck fuel. This does not have like an impulse line like a newer Husky would at the top of the carb. It runs through the intake block like I showed you guys. I was just telling myself that more than you. There's some of you out there that are probably like, wow, this guy is a noob. And you'd be right. I am not good at this. I'm just learning, and I'm wanting to learn how to do most of my own saw maintenance. Because I come across saws all the time that are not running, but they'll run off of prime. They probably just got a bad diaphragm. I know that, but I've never been able to get a saw really to run properly with my own skills. So I've always had to take it to a shop. Well, the problem being, my local shop owner is selling. And this new guy that he's selling to, I don't know yet if the service is going to be nearly as good. Not saying that new guys can't run a shop, but this guy has been around the block for quite a few years, and he's worked on my saws for a long time, and I trust him. I trust his judgment. If he tells me something's bad, it's bad. Or if he tells me that it's good, then you know it's gonna be good. Getting these linkages back in might be a pain in the butt. We're gonna try this bottom hole on this. Actually, no. Yeah, we are. If I can get it in one of them. Get it in one of them first. What do I turn it the other end? No, it won't. It's gotta be like this. Okay. Like I said, I'm talking to myself too, guys, because I'm trying to learn how to work on a chainsaw. More than just changing fill filters and spark plugs. Any Joe Schmo can do that owns a scrunch, or a chainsaw wrench, whatever you want to call it. Oh, come on. Get in there, you little bugger. Doesn't want to get in there the rest of the way. Alright, get out of there and I'll bend you around a little more. Maybe that'll get in there. Grab the way I want it to. Is it all the way closed? Yeah, it sure is. It just does not want to go in. Okay, well, son of a bitch. I'm gonna have to pull that top bolt back out just for a minute for linkage purposes. Let's see if I can get the throttle linkage in. Okay, which hole were you in? I think it was this one, this top one. I guess it'd be the middle one. Oh boy. This might be a bit of a pain in the butt. Come on. Ow. Grab that one. We got throttle, so we'll give that a go. See how that works. If it's not right, we can move it around a little bit. Okay. You need to come back out to the hole. So what I've done is I put my linkage back on after I put both bolts in, and well, the top bolt interferes with the choke linkage, so the bolt's got to come back out. Otherwise, I don't think the linkage will go in, because I've kind of tweaked it a bit and it doesn't fit. So we'll just take it apart quick like and see if it does better with the bolt out, which I think it will. The bolt cleared the box. No, but the head did. Now maybe I can get it in there. Yeah, I think it'll go now. I can get the bolt the rest of the way out. Oh, good. I can't get that bolt all the way out, so I'll just mess with it this way. Come on. Get in there. Get in there. Oh, dirty son of a gun. My Lord. That head does not want to go back in its home, does it? There, I got it. There, now we got the choke cable. I don't know what I did differently than 5 minutes ago, but it's in there. I'm going to tweak that linkage back the way it was. Put this bolt back in and put a little gas in it and see what we got. After I do the rope, I'm going to do the rope first, because this rope is about gone. It's frayed in 2 spots, so why mess with it? I've got a rope. It's just one of them things that it's kind of tedious, and I can do them. I've done a couple. I did one in my 394, and I did one a few years ago in my 61. And my 61 is actually running a lot better, guys. this is, I got a socket for this, so I'm going to use a socket when I can. So, we know this recoil is working fine, retracting wise. We don't want to mess with that too much. We want to just replace the rope and put the OEM handle back in it if you can. The OEM handle is a little better than them stupid Briggs & Stratton handles. The Briggs handles are not very good. I've got one on a personal saw and they suck. They're just not great. They're not long enough. They need to be longer. Eventually, when I get some saws sold and some extra cash, I'll get some actual nice handles and keep some nylon rope in stock. But for now, I'm just starting out, so I don't got a lot of extra funding for this stuff. This stuff's got to pay for itself with just a little bit of cash. Yeah, this recoil in good shape other than the rope. Not sure how to get it apart, but okay, it's got some screws here on the front side. I'm going to set the saw back down on the floor, and we're going to take this sucker apart. Well, we didn't even need to take it off the saw to do the rope, it didn't look like. Oh well. One of the things I'm going to do this weekend is go look at some saws, because I've been to this guy's house before. He's cleaning out a warehouse that had a bunch of saws in it. He's got some Macs. One of them's actually a right-hand start, and I've never ran one of those, so I think it's a 1010. I can't tell from the pictures he sent me, but the price isn't bad, so can't go wrong on a cheap Mac. They'll probably run. That's one thing I've learned. It's not to doubt a Mac on whether it'll run or not. Them damn things will run, as long as they ain't locked up. Okay, come here. How do you come off? Oh yeah, you're along my little interference fit with the screw. Okay, this is weird. Got more bolts here. This probably holds the spring on the backside. So we'll have to be careful